but I would like to have a nice experience in my life. And then I got an opportunity to go to Australia, and I would say, okay, just do it. Because at that time, I was already 28 years old. It's quite old for backpackers, but I remember at that time, I asked myself, why are you laughing?
Because I think many people would disagree with you. You know,
I look young.
we both have lots of friends who are way over. I don't know about way older than 28, but in their
Yeah,
30s, 35, still backpacking.
but be honest, like most of the backpackers, if they are from Europe, they probably just graduate from high school
I,
and they
I
come here
no, I don't have that experience. I didn't have that experience in Australia.
because you always hang out with old people like me.
Yeah, exactly. All my friends were 30-year-olds.
Mm. But I work in the backpacker hostel most of the time because I do love people. I was really curious of people. So most of the backpacker I met is around like 18 to maybe 20, 23. This is the majority of the age, to be honest, because
Oh,
when you are over 30 years old, or for some country you are over 35 years old, you are just not allowed to be a backpacker. Like you're just not allowed to have this visa anymore.
yeah, that that's true now, but during COVID, everything was very different, and people arrived when they were maybe 29 or 30, and then they could stay extra time because of the visas.
Yeah, but when we discuss this, I didn't just focus on the COVID time. I think because when you talk about backpacker experience, most of the audience, they are maybe interesting to become a backpacker in Australia or whatever. And this is a reality, kind of reality, I would say. Yeah.
I I think you have no, I think is you have some reason behind what you're saying. I think a lot of the English people who go generally tend to be, you know, just on the other side of university. The Germans tend to be 18-year-olds. They have a
Young.
gap year before they go to university. And then the Frenchies is either one or the other. But I think a lot of Latin people, for example, they tend to go in their mid to late 20s.
Mm,
You know, a lot of Chileans and Argentinians, they tend to arrive not so far away from 30.
yeah,
So it depends. It depends.
yeah,
But I think during COVID as well, a lot of the younger backpackers went back home to their countries because we didn't know what was going to happen. It was something so
yeah.
new, something so crazy, and it was
Mhm.
very, you know, we didn't know how Australia was going to be.
No.
We were lucky. We were lucky to have stayed.
We
We
were, yeah. If we look back then, we are super lucky, because we were in the period like at the beginning, everyone feel really panic. We don't know what to do, and we start to. I think I remember I was in Cairns, so we have several months like quarantine. But that time is like if you're in the hostel, you don't need to wear the mask.
Mhm.
And there's empty everywhere, but you have a really nice weather, and people actually are more closer at that time because it's feel like we don't know what will happen and we are far away from home, so we are a family together. So even now I have a great friend from back then, I met in the hostel in Cairns. uh, I don't know. Probably the owner of the cans will never. The owner of the backpacker hostel will never watch the video, but his name is Brian and Linda, and the backpackers hostel's name is, I think it's a global. I forget the name. Like something international.
Great shout out to a hostel that you can't remember the name of.
Yeah, but I'm old, you know, I have bad memory. But anyway, Brian, Linda, and there are all the people, you know, before I come to Australia, you know, Chinese people, we are super close. So we kind of have the fear of Western people. Like my parents will tell, you know, they don't like you, you know, they will beat you, blah, blah, blah. But actually, yeah, it's like like discrimination, you know. But I do experience discrimination in Australia. Yeah, it was horrible. Oh, but maybe more in Europe. Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
another story.
you
Yeah,
feel like it's worse in Europe, the discrimination.
yeah. For my personal experiences, worse. You just like feel completely you are outsider, as my experience, like systematically they will let you know you are outsider because you are EU student, non-EU student, Dutch student. You just have totally different right.
But do you
I
feel
feel,
like the
I
specific
feel
discrimination?
super, yeah.
Do you feel like
What?
there's specific discrimination for you coming from China or just being an outsider to Dutch culture?
I think just I don't know, be a outsider to Dutch culture maybe, but I don't blame to Dutch. You know, I don't think it's I I don't know who to blame in this situation, to be honest. But I do feel I be treated differently.
Mm.
Like it's just like something 24 hours tell you you are different with everybody. Yeah. But
Yeah.
there are also like there are also people are nice. I try to be people pleaser now, but I do feel much difference. But in Australia, for example, people said, "Oh, Aussie, some of Aussie are really like racist, blah blah blah." But from my personal experience, most of Aussie I met are really really nice people. They are really friendly. They come to help you, like Brian and Linda. They are the first backpacker hostel like I was in, and they try to help me a lot. I remember I lost a job from the restaurant, and Linda is one of the owner. She will like try to Google the job available to me. And when I need to find another job, and the another backpacker, like another manager, contact them, and Brian and Lina, they didn't tell me, but they speak a lot of good things about me, you know. And uh, I still have the purse. So when I left that hostel, uh, because that is really difficult time for them too. You know, they have a really nice business, and suddenly all tourists just gone. So they lost money every day. But when I left, because I have them to take care of the hostel, they give me some money in the pocket, and they write a really nice message to me. You know, I feel so grateful to meet them. Yeah. And also I remember once I went to dance. You know, like as a Chinese at that time, it's kind of difficult because I do remember when I work in the hostel, and then some people will come to me and say, "Where are you from?" I say, "Oh, I'm from China," and they will say, "Oh, Corona." You know, it's like joke, but it's also some for me it's also hurtful. You know, it's virus. We don't invite this virus, and people dying, and I can also see the number in my country, people dying. I also feel afraid. I don't know what is going to happen to my country, and I also don't know what is going to happen to the people. You know, but
Yeah.
then people just like kind of like teasing you. And then I remember when I I took a Uber, and this driver from Australia, and he was really nice, and he told me, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Oh, I'm from China." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry for what happened at the moment in your country, and if you ever experience some racist because of this in Australia, I'm sorry for that. You know, those people, you don't need to worry about them. It's their problem." You know, I don't know him, you know. I didn't even say anything about this, but he I just feel like really warmed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think it is definitely a minority, but they are a vocal minority, unfortunately. The people who are racist and discriminatory. I do not think that that represents Australians as a whole. Like you say, I think they are some of the most hospitable people and lovely people that I've
yeah, they're
known. You
really easygoing.
can stand
I
them.
feel like, yeah, I feel like I experienced a lot of culture shock between Australia and the Netherlands.